Welcome, dogs. Get your goggles, get your tightest lycra tri-suit, put on those compression socks. Why be good at one sport if you can be shit at three? This is the Triathlon Mockery podcast. What's up, my dogs? We are back in the game, and I had a great sleep last night because I had a wonderful question, Jody, to start this podcast off, and it was the following. What do you reckon is stronger than a junkyard dog?
What is stronger than a junkyard dog?
Yeah.
A horse.
A clicking, flipping Mexican chicken, baby. It is. How are you doing? And are you on the chicken and eggs diet already?
I am actually, yeah. I've had 4 eggs today. 4 eggs, mate. Chicken yesterday, 2 chicken thighs yesterday. Like, chicken and eggs is going to get me to the top.
So, all well and good, and I had a little think, so the guy that got popped, sadly a Mexican, because I love Mexico, I love the flipping heat, and I love the beautiful beaches, and it's an amazing country, but little Tommy was a bad boy, little Thomas Rodriguez, but what happened is from his dietitian, Joe. His dietitian told him chicken and eggs, and I think I know who his dietitian is.
It's got to be Colin Chartier, hasn't it?
No, I think it's Ray Skipper. Because when I went on a training camp with Ray Skipper in furthurmore, he's been giving us chicken every flipping day, chicken and eggs.
Oh,
chicken
mate, that chicken made me fucking quick. Like, that French chicken must have clomazine in, because I was fucking flying after that. That was the good old days. It was Techno who wanted it as well, though. Wasn't it because him and Techno kept going to the supermarket and, like, chicken was their thing, weren't it,
And we even had a podcast called Chicken Game Strong. So I think Thomas was just very inspired. He got in touch with Uncle Ray, and that's the rest is.
I remember Fabian, the German that was on the training camp, and you two would go, not chicken again. What is it with you Brits and chicken?
Do you know what the good thing is? Fabian Eisenlauer, he's currently a multiple world champion, gold medalist, high rocks champ. He lives near the triathlon that we're going to do this weekend, baby. We're going to Allgäu in Germany for a little band camp, Jody and I, and Fabian will be there as well. He's going to be cheering us on.
Is he actually going to come out and cheer us on?
He literally lives like 5 minutes away from where the race is.
I have to use the shittest kit imaginable. Like, I've seen some pictures of what it looks like.
Can you give the listeners a little sneak peek in what's...
So I'm racing Mark from GTN over the Olympic distance, and I've got to use old school kit. So they've basically found the top of the range old school kit from, I guess, the 80s, and I've got to see if I can beat him over an Olympic distance. So really old, horrible-looking bike shoes, a strange-looking bike that makes Aventum look pretty attractive, just all kinds of weird stuff. Like, I haven't seen the whole range yet. He's saving some as a surprise for me when I get there. But a 2-piece tri-suit, I think, swimming trunks on the bottom.
So if you need to be going full 80s experience, does that include EPO?
Well, that was the 90s, I think that was when that came around. So that'll probably be the next one. I'll have to ask Thomas for some tips and maybe sign up Colin as my nutritionist. When you see me sign up Colin for my nutritionist, that's when you know I'm taking things seriously in my preparation.
I know. So I am going tomorrow by car to the good old Germany, and you're traveling out a day after that, and then on Saturday or Sunday there's a massive event there. It's called the Allgäu Classic Triathlon. I think it's one of the oldest triathlons in Europe. It's a flipping awesome race, mate. It's like a shitload of climbing. It's perfect for you and me with our race weights. And then the run is quite epic as well, because you go up this hill called the Kuhsteig or something. and on the bike, like the Calvarienberg, shitload of people cheering you on. It's a cool race. So I'm definitely looking forward to it.
I'm going to look well funny, aren't I, in like the old school kit, aren't I? They're going to be like, who's this guy?
It's fun. It's good going. Yeah, I can't wait to head out and go on the camp. Sometimes you need to find some new inspiration, don't you?
Yeah, you do. I've even got an old wetsuit, I think, from like the 80s. It's like a surf wetsuit or something. It's not as if I'm a good enough swimmer to get away with that. So God knows what I'm going to be like swimming in there.
Yeah, yeah. You'll be fine, mate. Hey, you've got any highs and lows from this week?
I went to a wedding. Laura's brother finally got married after 14 years.
Really?
So I was up in the Peak District for that. Yeah, I know, mate. Like,
Ben.
crazy, isn't it? Like, 14 years. Ben, yeah. Ben's tied down now.
Ben got married.
Ben got married, and Ben's off in Peru now. He's doing the Inca Trail or something like that.
Oh,
no, Machu Picchu, isn't it?
Yeah,
Machu Picchu there? Yeah.
And where was the wedding?
In the Peak District, so near Leek.
Okay, yeah.
So it's about 3.5 hours away, but quite nice. It was in the hills, but I've got fucking bad DOMs. I only did one hilly run up there, and my legs feel like they've been totally smashed from it.
What was your outfit? Give us a little outfit check.
It was actually my wedding suit, and then I just had a different tie on. I don't own a massive amount of suits, mate. I don't own a massive amount of suits. Like, my suit is my Lycra.
A McGregor kind of guy like you should have like a shitload of suits.
Oh, well, I did have a suit. What I got made in Bangkok, but I couldn't fit in it. I was going to wear that. Luckily, I took a couple of spares. It was a nice coloured one. It was a lighter coloured one. I had a really nice shirt for it that I was going to wear, like a Ralph Lauren one. Looked shit up. Put it on. I couldn't fucking bend down, let alone try and sit down in it. I was like, right, it's definitely time to get training now. If I'd have sat down in it, mate, they would have split. Like, so I was like, well, that's eliminated that one. Unfortunately, looks like I'm in the other suit.
All right. Well, that should get you motivated for training next week.
I'm going to struggle on the hills, aren't I, mate? I'm going to struggle on the hills.
Not just you. I think the two of us. But it's all right.
You got through Tenerife, didn't you? Being a bit overweight, didn't you?
I got through Tenerife being a bit overweight.
If you can get through Tenerife being a bit overweight, you can get through anywhere.
Don't ask me how I got through it, but mine good. That was at first I wanted to blame everything on the tires because I had really. At some point, I was like, "How much can you actually blame on a tire?" You know.
This tire's got to be at least 80 watts slower. Honestly, it's so slow.
At some point, I was literally just adding everything onto each other. Something like, all right, must be the tires, 20 watts. A low reading power meter, that's something like 20 watts. I've got a very, very slow jersey on today. That must be like 10 watts. And then, I don't know, because I could see sometimes, a certain climb and the percentage, you would have to push an X amount of watts to go an X amount of K per hour, right?
Yeah.
I think I was used to doing 300 watts or 320 and going 21 k's an hour up a 5% climb, something like that. I don't even remember. But I remember in Tenerife, I was going something like 16. I thought like, are my brakes running? Is it the tires? Low reading power meter? High reading power meter? What's going on? Yeah.
Oh, God, it's depressing, isn't it, when it's like that?
Training is depressing. It gets to a point that it isn't even fun anymore.
What did you feel like? Is that what you felt like? Because it just felt hard work? Yeah,
that you're working really hard, but you're hardly working, or you're hardly moving.
Well, that's maybe what it feels like for a fat person when they first start triathlon, or start running or something like that. It's really hard.
I don't think so, because I think people that are like overweight and they don't have a history in endurance sports, they get rewarded with very, very quick gains. And that makes it very fun. It's like a kid or a dog that does something right. And speaking of dogs,
Mate, you've got the dog. You've just brought the dog out in her.
Yeah, exactly. But every time they do something right in the beginning, they get like a reward. And that's kind of fun. But if you're coming from your A game, so what you had, for example, and all of a sudden you're it's not going so well, then you're always comparing yourself. Well, you don't have that because it has been going well in training, but you're comparing yourself to a former you, and that's what makes it hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, let's go from one big race to another. Shall we have a little look at one of the biggest races of the year, IRONMAN Frankfurt?
IRONMAN Frankfurt, mate, the field is absolutely stacked for it. I actually reckon that this is a stronger field than Kona.
Yeah?
When you look at the amount of people that are in it as well, and the amount of good names, that's what I would say. That if you can podium there, then you're in with a shot of podium in Kona, if you have a good day.
Does it give you goosebumps, the list?
No, it doesn't give me goosebumps, mate.
Mate,
But it gets me excited. It does get me excited. It does give me a bit of a tingle.
A tingle. That's all we need.
I've got a little thing. I'm going to read out some names that are on the start list.
Well, first,
We'll have a little.
maybe first a little looky at the course. So it's a men's only race with almost 90 professionals, 90 on the list. And first the course. So the swim is wet. What's it for? Is it a lake swim, right?
It's a lake swim, yeah. It'll be non-wetsuit.
Yeah. Due to the temperatures what we've had right now, Europe, well, the Netherlands and Norwich is currently hotter than Kona. It is.
I know, and we're not even joking. I'm just laughing at how much we're having to suffer here through training. You think Kona's bad? You get aircon in Kona. You don't get aircon in Norwich.
Exactly. It's punishment. I mean, if you get a job in accountancy or something, at least you're inside with aircon because all these big firms have got air conditionings and cool workspaces.
They don't even have that in Norwich.
But if you're a poor triathlete, you need to get out on a Tuesday in 31 degrees with 90% humidity for a 4-hour ride. That is torture.
I just suffer through it, mate. I'm just used to suffering and grinding away. You know, it's a tough life, but someone's got to do it, and I've just stepped up, and I'm out there suffering, so you don't have to.
Voluntarily. All right, bike course in Frankfurt. What kind of bike course is it? You've done it a couple of times.
Just undulating, pretty quick, I'd say. Like a few undulations, nothing hard, no real big climbs of any significance. Just like a little bits of up and down throughout the course. Quite a good one. Like you can drop people on some of the climbs because they're not that long. That if you're feeling good, you could just power up them really hard and create a gap. But they don't suit a climber, if you know what I mean, because they only take like 2 minutes to get up. That kind of thing. It's
a quick course.
Yeah, like fastest bike will be around 4 hours for it.
Will it be a motorbike friendly course?
It will. The motorbikes probably will pace the first swimmers in that race away. When I did it, that happened, and I think that tends to happen in quite a lot of the races. So I think the first people out the water, some of them will get help from motorbikes, but they are strict on drafting. So if you haven't got the motorbikes and you end up drafting a bit further down, you're probably going to get popped and get a penalty.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Because I think they closed the whole roads off from what I remember, but the motorbikes always seem to go close. And in Germany, they film the races and there's loads on the course.
Do you know what I find
always seems to be a bit
crazy with you saying that the motorbikes, they film the course? I was looking at some content of as a content creator myself, looking at some other content that has been created on the web, on the line, and it was on Instagram, but it was by another podcast. They were allowed to be on a motorbike and film the front pack, and I'm thinking, like, can you imagine that I'm being invited to be on a motorbike to film you during an Ironman? I think it's flipping nuts.
It was. What race was that? Was that San Marino?
That was San Marino, yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand how they're allowed to do that because it's like professional sport. It should be like, the only motorbikes that are allowed on the course are motorbikes certified by the organisation. You shouldn't really be allowing other people. Yeah, and I was surprised that they actually let them out on the course because it's basically like I could just get you to come out there, film me on the course, and you just sat in front of me filming me. The motorbike's going to be close all the time, and I get a massive advantage. That's not really fair on the other athletes, is it? I saw that, and I didn't even know at the time that was allowed. I didn't even know until after the race. But Yeah, it was disappointing to see that was allowed actually, because it gives such a huge advantage.
Yeah, yeah, and especially that it's not even a motorbike that is from the organization or a content creator that is from the organization. I think that's
Yeah,
always you get that.
I think Ironman are better. They don't allow you to do that,
Can you
but like
imagine
they
that?
still,
Because Remco Evenepoel has also got a YouTube channel, just like you and me.
yeah.
That he's all of a sudden in one of the classics, like Paris-Roubaix or during the Tour de France, has got him
Or
missing.
in the Olympic road race.
Yeah,
In the Olympic road race, when he's off the front trying to solo away, and then he has his motorbike come in and like
NLB.
pay, has his motorbike come along and just sits like in front of him every now and again, and the group can't catch him from behind because every time his media person comes next to him, he's saving like a load of power and going faster. It's just, yeah, I mean, you shouldn't be getting, if you want to be a serious sport, you can't be having stuff like that happen.
All right, but this was about, we're on the same line then. This was about Frankfurt. So you're saying it is relatively motorbike friendly, but there might be a chance of involvement of.
I think with these Ironman Pro Series races, there's just extra motorbikes and stuff. And to be honest, in the races, what they've televised before in the past. And the problem that I think is they don't brief the motorbikers enough in telling them that if you actually go close to the athletes, you're creating a huge advantage for them. So stay X amount of distance away. They kind of just give them the cameras, let them crack on with it, and the motorbikers are just thinking, well, I will go real close.
It's also hard because I think they would probably. I mean, all of a sudden you need 30 motorbike people to be available on course. First of all, some to maybe arrange traffic, others maybe to be media motorbikes, others again to be like a referee. So you need a shitload of motorcyclists for the event, and I think half of them are maybe from a local Hells Angels club, and they get like a briefing, and they're like, "All right, I'll just keep an eye on them." But they're probably not as involved as we are in the sport and don't really know what the impact is, because he might be on the motorbike sitting like miles away. I'm 10 meters away, 50 meters away. That guy on his bike is still pedaling a lot. And yes, to him, maybe it looks like he's working flipping hard. But I think that's the big problem. Like you
Yeah, no, that is totally.
blame the organization, because I think they do the briefing, but it's the people on the bikes that are from the Hells Angels clubs. And they
And the run
realize
in this one, the run in Frankfurt's rapid, mate.
Yeah.
Just pretty flat, like hardly any like turns and stuff. Really fast one. So I reckon
The good thing about this year is that the temperature during race day is going to be 23 to 25 degrees, which is a massive difference from the previous few editions where it has been 30 degrees plus.
yeah, this is going to be some fast times then. This will probably be won in 7 hours 30 or under, I reckon.
Now let's have a sneaky little look at the list. What gives you goosebumps?
Christian Blumenfeld gives me goosebumps.
Yeah?
Seeing him on the start list of an Ironman again. Oh, man, that's exciting.
Yeah, but honestly, are you looking forward to that?
I'm looking forward to him, yeah. Do you think he will be fit or fucked for this? What Christian are we going to see? A fit one or a fucked one?
I don't think you would see a fucked Christian very often, because
But it has happened. It has happened in races.
what race was he really fucked then?
Larty, 70.3 worlds.
What happened to him there?
He was fucked, mate, and didn't finish. Or
Yeah,
finished
all
well
right.
down.
DNF. That is
No,
possible.
but finished real. He might have even finished, but it was just well down. Just
But
terrible.
he's just coming down from peak form of Olympic gold. He's still been training 30 hours a week. He's my 103 VO2 max kind of guy. He's got 17 lungs. So I think even because he hasn't been sitting on a tri bike for a long time, he'll still be in the mix.
Do you think there's going to be a fit Christian Blumenfeld turn up?
So you're asking me if I would think that we're seeing a fit Christian Blumenfeld?
Yeah, fit. Is he going to be fit or is he going to be fucked? What are you going to go for? You
Um,
can't be one or the other.
I'm going for fit, and the only thing that's going to cost him maybe time is going to be the bike, position-wise. As in, can he handle the TT position? As he hasn't been on
Yeah.
a TT bike for since Latin.
Yeah, like is his back going to seize up basically?
Exactly.
All right, Patrick Langer.
But in
Is
the
he going to be
end,
fit?
Christian only needs to finish to validate his Kona spot. So there's not a
Yeah, he
lot of
does. Yeah,
pressure on our big blue.
but Christian doesn't race to finish.
Exactly. That is true.
Patrick Lang, is he going to be fit or is he going to be fucked?
I reckon Patrick Lang is going to be fit. He's going to be recovered from his water attack at Roth, where his water attack, so someone attacked him in the water, and then he had to DNF. So I think he wants revenge on German soil. So yeah, definitely.
Number 66, Jonathan Felwell. Is he going to be fit or is he going to be fucked?
So John Thelwell, your training partner, John from the world, the fastest electrician in the world. I think, with all respect, Johnny, I'm going to be surprised if he's fit.
Oh, why are you hating on John?
I'm not hating. I'm like, I would find it unbelievable if he excels in this race, because he's already done 3 Ironmans. He works a
He reckons he
full-time
feels
job.
great.
Sorry?
He reckons he feels fresh and ready to go.
I'm hoping he gets the best race of his life, because that's what he does.
What would be a fit John Felwell though? Like for you, if John races a decent race, what would that take? What would that comprise of for him?
54-minute swim,
Yeah.
4-hour bike. Go on, John.
The top pros ride 4 hours.
No, I'm kidding.
What do you
No,
think?
I would say 4 hours. If the top pros would ride 4 hours, I would say for him ride 4:10, 4:15.
All right.
4:15, and then run. I think he should be able to run 2:50.
So basically, you're saying sub 8.
Sub
He could be in with a shot for that.
Yeah,
All right. We've got
but the reason why I'm doubting it is because he's been doing 3 Ironmans already and 2 halves already. He's working almost full time. So yeah.
All right. I've got 3 more people I'm going to pick out. Maybe 4. Next one is a Dutchie that I can see. Menno Koolhaas.
I wanted to say something about Menno Koolhaas. First of all, you say Koolhaas. But Menno the Koolhaas, he raced Texas. On the bike, towards the middle, he got a penalty for drafting. And he...
Tell him to sign up to the PTO, mate. They don't give penalties. Yeah. Tell him to sign up for the T100 races. You don't get penalties in that.
I know, but then he didn't stop at the first penalty tent, but at the second penalty tent during the bike lag. Then finished the bike ride. He ran 2:36, 2:37, finished 6th in the race, or 7th in the race, 6th in the race.
Did he run 2:36, did he?
Yeah, something like that, 2:36, 2:37. Qualified for Kona, but because he didn't stop at the first penalty tent, he got disqualified, so they removed him from the finishers list. And then he said, well, have a look at the Race Ranger results. I think I drafted the lead, so he went over to the guy from Race Ranger. He had a look at the results, and he said, well, yes, it looks like that you've been drafting the leads from the whole field, but we can't use this as an argument. Well, I understand that. But then you've got another athlete with a Palmares who's been fined for drafting. He didn't sit out at the penalty at all, and he got Kona qualified through validation. Do you think that is unfair treatment of professional athletes?
It's a bit different. Yeah, kind of. But then with the other one, with Sam though, he got DQ'd from the results though, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Yeah.
So it wasn't like he was still in the result and he got the thing. So he could kind of get it, couldn't he, like that? Whereas Menno's way how he would qualify would have to be he'd have to get a certain position, wouldn't he? It wasn't just finishing the race.
True, but he did take the penalty, just not at the first. Just not at the next penalty box.
Yeah, that's a bit. How much? Yeah, that's a bit. I mean, they do say you have to stop, don't they, in the briefing at the next penalty stand.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it's a tough one. It's a bit demoralising, isn't it, that you finish that you carry on finishing the Ironman and find out you got DQ'd when you actually stopped and served the penalty. But they do that, don't they? Because if you're drafting, say, at 30 miles,
True, yeah,
and there's a penalty tent there, they don't want you staying with that group until 100 miles because you've got the gain of being with the group, haven't you? you
Yeah,
know,
definitely. Yeah,
and then stopping before the run is a massive advantage, isn't it? If you can stop at a penalty tent literally just before you start the run, you're literally saving 5 minutes of energy where you literally can just roll into the tent, roll into transition, get changed, and you're probably going to run quite a bit quicker because you've literally just had 5 minutes to get your heart rate down before starting the run.
totally right. But apart from this, just wanted to have your opinion on this. So Menno Koolhaas, he's a front pack swimmer, so he'll probably be first out of the water in Frankfurt, if not second or third. He let out of the water in Texas, and then I think the bike is going to be the bit where he could be missing the pack, and he's a great runner. So it all depends on how much time he would lose on the bike.
So where would be a good position for him? Top 5, top 10?
Well, I would say top 10 is already flipping amazing.
Will he be fit or fucked? Fit or fucked, though?
Fit.
Will he race well or race?
He would race well. I reckon he would race well,
Right.
yeah. But he just needs to like believe in himself on the bike. So when you get dropped from a front pack group, it's all about like keep believing that you can still come back on the run, you know?
The next ones I've got are going to test you a bit. Philip Mignon.
Philip Mignon?
Yeah, Philip Mignon, number 10.
Not Clement Mignon?
Yeah, Clement Mignon.
What did you say?
Philip Mignon. Filet.
Oh! All right, Clement Mignon. I don't think he has an off day often, Clement Mignon. I think he always does well.
So you're basically thinking that everyone's going to be on form then, apart from John Felwell.
Oh, Johnny. No, I reckon, so if I have a little look on the list, who I think is going to be... Oof, it's just hard, man. So many great
Right,
names.
what about Braden Curry then? So you've
I was
seen how
looking at Braden Curry. I was looking at
Right.
Braden Curry. And actually, Braden is kind of in the same situation
He is.
what you were in.
Yeah.
But you decided that you needed to take the break, and Braden's like, "Gotta crack on, baby. Gotta crack on." So,
Braden's in it till he dies, isn't he? He's like die hard, like for the series, isn't he? He's like, this might take some years off my life, but I don't fucking care. I'm in the moment. I'm going for it. I ain't stopping.
and he's not scared to take on a big field, is he?
No.
But yeah, considering the races, what he's had.
So he's come from like New Zealand. His travel is crazy this year. So he obviously was going to race Ironman New Zealand, but he was ill, so he couldn't do it. So he had to like can that one. Then he raced Texas. So he flew all the way from New Zealand to Texas, back to New Zealand, raced Cairns, which wasn't too bad for him. Then flew back to America again from New Zealand. Then he flew back to New Zealand, and then he's flying all the way from New Zealand to Europe again for this. Can you imagine all them long haul flights from New Zealand? Like, I mean, New Zealand to Europe is like, that's fucking hardcore, isn't it? You don't get any bigger than that. It's like 30 hours.
Absolutely flipping nuts. One thing is for sure with him, whether those long travels are going to tire him out or not, at least.
I love Braden, but I'm going to say fucked for this. If he's not, then fucking hell, fair play to him. But like, that is such a tall order.
But speaking of high levels, there's one high level that he's going to be maintaining, and that's his frequent flyer level.
God, frequent flying, mate. He's going to be flying first class, isn't he? Forget business class with all them points he's got. Like, he's going to have his legs up. He's going to be drinking champagne on the way there. Like, if he wins on the way back, can you imagine him? He's going to be an absolute baller, isn't he? Like, on the cocktails, on the champagne, he's going to be, like, eating fillet. Like, God, living the life. All right, Trevor Foley.
Yeah, I find it a hard one as well, because Trevor Foley, it looks like he stepped up his game from the previous few races, so a couple of 70.3s. He did mega well. Last Ironman, he won that one. But the question is, did he recover quick enough to do another one really well?
Yeah.
I doubt it.
And after that Ironman, he raced a half distance the week after.
And he won that one as well, yeah.
He did. So has he recovered from an Ironman and then a 70.3 the week after, or will he be paying the price?
Going off the Ironman history in general, there aren't many athletes like I can't name many athletes that have been able to race very often and always do very well in like world class fields. So going off that, I would say there's a big chance he's going to be third.
I would say that going off what you've said, that summed it up perfectly for me. Like looking at what he's done and how many people have tried to do similar things and just not been able to recover in time is quite common. If he feels good and he nails this race, that is so fucking impressive to
That
be
is
able to
very
recover and do that.
especially
Like,
considering the field, and that he wasn't doing triathlon before 2016, nor cycling, nothing. What was it?
before 2019.
29.
Before 2019.
Very, very impressive. So yeah,
Yeah.
going off that, I don't think, but yeah.
All right, Cam Worth.
Cameron Worth. Now, I must say, in the past, Cameron Worth did well with a semi-great swim, as in not the front pack, but the pack after that, then an awesome bike, and then a mediocre run. But I would say that recently, so since a year, he's really been stepping up his overall great game, and I don't think he's massively overbiking and now able to run well as well. I think, what did he do last time? A 2:42 run, and got him in the mix for a podium.
In Spain, yeah, he outrun quite a few people
Yeah.
in Spain and actually ran his way up to the podium, which is that was actually the strongest part of his race. Which
Exactly.
is
And considering that field, I do think, at the time that it's been 2 months now since he's been doing his last Ironman, and he's the kind of athlete that can do multiple races and still race consistent. I reckon he's going to be fit.
Yeah, he does seem. Whenever he starts on an Ironman, he's genuinely races to his ability, doesn't he? It's not often you see him
No,
have a poor race for what you would expect from him, is it?
there's only one race that I know that flipping killed him. Well, not killed him.
What was that?
Emptied him.
What was it?
The heat in Mexico.
Did it? Really?
He was racing Mexico last year as well, November. But it's the end of the season, etc., etc. And then yeah.
So what's the next part then? What we're talking about?
Yeah. So these are.
Let's just pick a winner for Frankfurt. Forget the top three. You just got to pick the winner. Oh, by the way, Sam Long. So I forgot to mention, Sam Long has been called up on the start list today. He wasn't announced before, but since we've recorded this or been talking, he has been given the all clear that he's got a spot. He was on the reserve list apparently, and someone's obviously pulled out, and he's been moved up. So before we go, how do you reckon Sam will do? Hasn't prepared for it. Didn't know he was racing until yesterday.
I would say fit. Because the T100 in London didn't go super well. He was on a sort of.
But it looks like that. But I spoke to him, and his power was higher than what he's done in the other races.
Exactly, but the run, right? The run didn't go, and he had.
No, his run was the second fastest.
Oh, well, no, he had problems on the bike. Something, but like it was that.
He had some problems, but his power on the bike was higher than what he was doing in Miami.
What I meant to say was like his result in Team 100 was.
His performance was great, but his result was bad because
bad luck on the bike.
I mean, to be honest, let's be honest, they drafted the shit out of each other, didn't they? And that whole front group was like a freaking draft fest. It was like a pack versus an individual. It was like, it's an absolute joke.
Yeah.
Like, if the T100 wants to be taken seriously going forward, they need to give some penalties out, because at the moment, people are taking the piss now because they just don't give any out. So they're pushing the boundaries even more than what they used to. And that race, I was there watching it in person, and it was so fucking bad. Like, it was literally, I saw athletes, mate, in the lead group, right, coming past, and every lap they came past, the same ones weren't even on the TT bars. They were literally holding the base bar because they were obviously getting that close, and it's that easy staying in the pace line. They don't even have to go on the TT bars. I mean, what a fucking joke.
Yeah, well, they're only contracted for 100 grand, and there's only 100 grand on the line. So it's the same with my local triathlon. If it's not an important race, then people are not taking it serious. No, that is actually, it's pretty sad. I've been there, but I've heard the rumors, and I saw the comments online, and yeah, it's a shame. But I do reckon they'll be taking this into consideration.
I mean, like, they can do whatever they want with the penalties. They don't even have to give like 4-minute penalties. They could just give 30-second stop and go penalties. Like, have a marshal give someone a 30-second penalty. At least then it would break up the packs, and people would be on their own.
But it's still, it needs to be a long penalty, because you want people 30 seconds, mate. That's nothing.
No, but then they would be more willing to give more penalties, wouldn't they? So whereas now they're given like a 5-minute penalty. That's a bit like, that's why they're not giving them, because they're too scared that it's going to ruin someone's race and they're not going to try. So at least give a 30-second stop and go penalty. If you're drafting, you're hanging on and you're not good enough, you're going to start losing even more time once you go. But as soon as you see someone doing it,
I think what they should be doing is they should swap the referee with the Hells Angels driving, Hells Angels. Because what would happen then is the referee would know how far up he would need to be on the bike, and then the Hells Angels wouldn't give a fuck about it. He would just he would someone would have told him, if someone's drafting, get the flipping card and give it to him. They don't care.
Get the Hells Angels in, for fuck's sake. Like, that guy will not take any shit. You know,
if you will have an argument with that guy, you're going to be ending up with flat tires or something.
Blood in, blood out, mate, isn't it, with those guys?
An eye for an eye. But yeah, anyway, so I think Sam Long was peak shape for T100 and then was a little bit bummed by the result. He went to Italy to his girlfriend's grandmother, did some training there. So I think he's flipping keen to test himself over the Ironman distance. But now here comes the contradiction. He is, I would say, the world's best and consistent 70.3 athlete there is, or athlete over the 70.3 distance. But he hasn't been showing that over a full distance yet. So I am really curious. He definitely stepped up his level in the past 1.5 years. Is he able to do it in a full now as well?
I think surely he is. I can see him doing better, and I think the fact that he hasn't thought that he was doing an Ironman will have made him going better, because he maybe overdid it a bit in the past when he thought he was racing an Ironman, and that's why. Whereas he's going into this like real fresh. Like, I spoke to him earlier, and he said he's like not done as much as what he wants, but he feels good, so he's open to have a good race. So I reckon he's going to be on form. My pick for the win is going to be, I think, I'm going to go with Sam.
Alrighty, now my pick. So you're going for Sam Longy?
Sam Long, mate.
I'm going to go for Patrick Lang.
You reckon, Patrick?
I'm going to go for Patrick Lang. And that is, Patrick Lang is a front pack swimmer. And because there's such a massive field, I think there's going to be a huge lead group of 10 people, and he's just going to sit in and ride at a legal distance. And then Patrick Lang is just, I would say he is the fastest runner over the Ironman distance, because our chicken and
I don't think he is. I think if Trevor Foley races the same run what he did in Lake Placid, he beats Patrick Lang. Patrick Lang would not have outrun Trevor Foley in Lake Placid.
Yeah, but you don't know Patrick Lang's current run form, mate.
I know, but that run in Lake Placid, I think that run in Lake Placid was as good as a 2:30 in Roth.
All right, but I'm going to go for...
That run in Lake Placid's hard, mate. And also take into the fact that automatically Lake Placid is 600 to 700 metres longer than Roth. So automatically you've got 2.5 minutes there, which takes it down to a 2:34. And then you're losing over 3 minutes in terms of difficulty in Lake Placid with the hill. The hill you have to run up is brutal, and and they've made it harder. If Trevor Foley feels good and does the race that I think that he did in Lake Placid, and he can replicate that in Frankfurt, I think he wins. And I think if he starts the run with anyone and can run like he did in Lake Placid, he outruns everyone in this field. That's what I reckon. That's my outside pick.
Okay.
I think he's gonna, if he runs like that, he's gonna run 2:30 in Frankfurt.
I'm gonna go for Patrick Lang as well, and then my dark horse is gonna be, I'm gonna pick someone else than Trevor Foley just to make it fun. Clement Mignon.
Mignon, filet. You're hoping that he's not well done and that he's going to be medium rare, mate, are you?
Yeah, maybe.
I think it's 50-50, mate. I think he could be well done.
Yeah?
He's going to get cooked, mate, by fucking Foley and Long.
Jody Flippin' Skipper, you had a nice bullshit buster.
My bullshit buster is a little thing that I saw posted up today, that there was an article online, they did a survey, and they interviewed a lot of British people, and 28% of British people think that if they started training tomorrow, they could make the LA Olympics.
Yeah.
And I just think that is total bullshit. Like 28%, so 1 in 4 British people that they surveyed think that they could make the Olympics if they started training tomorrow. And it had a list of the percentages of what sport. So the sport that they think was the easiest to qualify in at the Olympics was, let me find this
10-meter
quickly.
air rifle.
Yeah, 10-meter air rifle. I mean, to be fair, that does sound like.
All right, let's quickly go for the top 5. So if they had to qualify for one Olympic sport, what would it be? So first place, 10-meter air rifle. Second place, archery. Third place, badminton. Fourth place, table tennis. And then fifth, rowing. And then I found
Rowing, I'm surprised.
Then
100-meter sprint, 6.
Exactly.
They're just fucking deluded, aren't they? So 1 in 15 people, British people, that thinks that they could qualify, thinks that they could make it in the 100-meter sprint at the next Olympics. So they do a 15-second 100-meter sprint, and they think they're going to drop 5 seconds off that.
Yeah, and then after that one is the road race and 100-meter breaststroke. Now,
that's because they're all fucking clogging up the fast lane in pools doing breaststroke, and they think, well, I'm in the fast lane doing breaststroke, so if I actually give this a good go, I'd be able to make that. Like, no Aussies would put breaststroke because they all swim fucking front crawl, don't they? But the British people are such terrible swimmers. They're all doing breaststroke in the fast lane, so they think they got a chance at the Olympics. So they think they're Adam Peaty now, don't they? Because they're clogging up the leisure lanes.
Absolutely flippin' nuts. Now, I am highly motivated by the Olympics. Like, I've seen different sports, and I'm literally thinking, holy macaroni. Like, it is awesome what you can do as a human, as a 100-meter breaststroke.
What sports did you watch then?
Sorry?
Because I only watched the cycling, the swimming, and the athletics.
Did you?
That's all I watched, yeah.
Beach volleyball.
All right.
For example, this foiling. So that's with this is some sort of windsurfing on the sea. Mate, that goes crazy fast. They're going up to like 80 k's an hour. I think that's flipping nuts. Then table tennis. It's like you're watching. What do you call what you've got in the bar?
I'm a terrible table tennis player, but I reckon that Laura's dad is a fantastic table tennis player. He'd put me away every time when we were on holiday. I reckon that he could make the Olympics in table tennis if he committed to it.
Yeah, but then oh, fucking dogs. Then what I've watched is like gymnastics. So on a I don't even know how they call it in English. If they're like standing on a beam.
Oh yeah.
So the women doing like tricks on a beam, like, oh my god, mate, that looked something that I'm never able to do in 100 years. So I find it crazy that people are just walking on the streets. They're looking at the Olympics through their eyes, and their eyes are like, the last time I went to a gym was in the 80s, and they're thinking like, I could do this stuff.
100%. I got in like a bit of a debate, I would say, with one person on Instagram, because on this post he reckoned that like sports that are easy to qualify, like athletics and triathlon, and that pretty much any normal person could qualify in 4 years if they had the capacity to train for it. Most people can't be asked, but if they could, they'd be able to qualify. And I said to him, it's complete rubbish, mate. Like, you don't realise the standard these guys are going. And I reckon it's because they see them on the TV when they're doing like the 5K. And they're cruising around. They make it look easy, aren't they? Because they're good at it. Like when you watch someone that's good at something, they make it look easy, and you think to yourself, "Oh, maybe I could do that." But they're running like 62 seconds a 400 lap, making it look easy. Which for a normal person, they can barely run that speed for a 100-meter sprint. And then they kick at the end and close with like a 53-second last lap. And they on the TV, they just see a bit of a pickup at the end. They probably think, "Well, when I did my school sports day, I was a pretty quick sprinter." So I reckon I could stay in there, and then because I used to put away all the kids at school sports day, I'd probably be able to sprint pretty well compared to these guys. But they just have no idea the speed they're going before they get to that point.
They don't even know that. For example, to put it into perspective, that Alex Yee, isn't he also the British champ 10K?
He was a few years ago, like maybe 2020 or 2021, something like that.
Exactly. So the level you need to be as a triathlete to also be very competitive at 10K track races is flipping amazing. And also with swimming, like the paces that short course guys are doing in the pool, at altitude sometimes is nuts. Like this guy on the couch is flipping deluded. Or
Well, what about the breaststroke? Like all them Brits that think they could make the Olympics for 100-meter breaststroke, and they're doing sub 60 seconds for 100-meter long course breaststroke.
but it's not even
Like
20%, 27% of Brits,
28%.
mate. 28%. That's like almost a third of the British people think
Yeah,
they can qualify. That is your country, mate.
I know they're crazy, aren't they? You can't say they lack confidence, can you?
Yeah.
But if you had to, if you had to qualify, someone said to you, you've got 4 years, and if you qualify for the Olympics, I'll give you £5 million, and you can pick any single sport you want. You've just got to make the team for Holland.
Well,
What sport would you pick?
I have been thinking about this not only last week, but over the last couple of years. I've fantasized about if I and my mates would be getting into the Olympics, what sports do I think I would have the best chance? Now, I'm going to pick 3 sports. The first one is, in my eyes, it's rowing, because I think I'm a good cyclist, and I do think because I know it from back at my fraternity. We had one guy at my fraternity, and he is an Olympic rower now. I think he won silver or gold, and he's won gold before. But I think if you really commit 4 years, and you've already got like a really massive endurance basis, that you could get to like a rowing level of Olympic state. But I'm talking now from my perspective, where you're already like an athlete for a couple of years.
Yeah, as you currently are.
As
So
I
in your
currently
current
am,
state, like,
I would say that's also because it's a team sport. And the Netherlands is so flipping good at it that they can have one rotten apple in the back. That would be me. Sorry.
I was going to say I would go for dressage.
Yeah, that was my second pick.
Because I think that's the easiest one. Because I'm looking at the people that are doing that. Some of them are in their 50s and 60s. So I'm thinking, okay.
By the
physically,
way, I didn't rate this on what's the easiest. Just the couple I would pick.
yeah,
But, yeah.
I'm just going for like what's the easy. What I think would personally be the easiest. So I'm looking at that and thinking, well, I'm obviously a lot fitter than them, so I've got that in the bag. If I had to lose weight to make it easier on the horse, I could probably do that, because you don't really have to be that fit for it, do you? My fitness is not going to be in question. My strength's not going to be in question for it. So for me, it comes down to, can I control the horse, and how smart is a horse? If I get a really good trainer that does all the training for the horse, and he knows what to dance to that song, then surely the hard work's all taken care of. I'm just on there, but the horse can, because the horse is at such a good ability, he can make up for my lack of skill in that area. Because the horse, isn't it, that comes down for it? Like you said, if you've got the Jan Frodeno of horses,
Yeah.
you're laughing, aren't you? If you've got like the age grouper of horses, then obviously you have a lot of work to do. But I'm hoping that I'm going to get the Jan Frodeno of horses.
Did you look at the dressage at the Olympics?
I've seen it before, and I saw one horse dancing to dance music, and it looked pretty cool. But I'm thinking, what is the person on top actually doing? The horse is the one who's doing all the work.
I was really looking at the guy on top of the horse, because I was thinking, what is he doing? What makes the horse look special? And we've been talking about this in the podcast in the past around the Tokyo Olympics, that I said I do think I could go with could I on a Jan Frodeno horse still be competitive at dressage? Looking at it, some people commented back then, like, no, the horse is very sensitive, and it senses the power from the rider and then knows what to do. So I was looking during the Olympics at the dressage, and I was looking at what is he doing. But then what I saw was they're literally sitting on the horse, and they're sitting still. So I'm thinking, so if the rider sits on the horse and sits still, then the horse just knows the trick and executes it.
Yeah, I think that would be the sport that I'd go for, and I'd just get a really good trainer. I'd make friends with someone that's already got some really good horses.
You've already got a good friend with good horses. The prince from Bahrain, mate.
Yeah, mate, can you teach one of your horses to dance? I would definitely, if I had a really good trainer for it. I think the trainer and the horse are the main things, aren't they? The rider just takes the credit.
Now, the last sport, it's not a summer Olympic sport, but a winter Olympic sport that I do think that I could qualify for with 3 good mates and have a shitload of fun and train hard, and we would out-train everyone and be the fittest on the dance floor.
What is it?
Curling.
Curling?
Curling. Yeah.
Really? You know what I'd love to have a go at in the Winter Olympics? Curling's a good one though, because it's basically like bowling. It wouldn't be that hard to put the time in, would it? It's not physically hard, is it really? It's just skill based, isn't it?
Exactly. If
I
you
would
do it
like.
with like 3 mates, you'd have an awesome time every day on the ice.
What about skeleton run? That would be flipping exhilarating, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we'll just break less than the others.
Yeah. Like, I'm trying to think what would be the hardest sport then in the Olympics? If someone put you in there now in the Olympics and they said, right, you have to. What do you think would be the hardest event to not look like a fool in, as you currently are?
Yeah, then.
So what would be the one that you'd most dread taking part in? Like if they said to you do the triathlon, you'd be like, all right, you wouldn't feel that bad, would you? Because
Exactly.
you'd like lose a bit of time on the swim, lose a bit of time on the bike, but you'd probably like not look too bad.
Just
But
a
what
bit-
one do you
just
think
a
you'd
bit
look like
of
the biggest
swim.
fool in if you did? Yeah, what do you reckon?
Well, it would be more the gymnastic kind of sports. So what about this dive where they would do 100 tumble turns in the air? Like, what is that?
Oh, like 10 meter dive, 10 meter dive, flip a deck. I'd
Yeah,
probably
with like
break something.
tricks. I would break my neck.
Yeah, but you just do like a single front flip, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but it's scary, mate, from 10 meters. It's
It would be scary, yeah. It would be scary, but you'd have someone there to hold your hand before you jumped off and tell you that you'd be all right. I think I would be embarrassed to do breakdancing. I think I'd look like such a fool doing that. I'm a terrible dancer, so doing that on TV, I'd be like humiliated.
Yeah, but I
Or
think they've
synchronized
removed it
swimming.
already for the LA Olympics.
Have they removed it?
Yeah, after all the commotion and the gal from Australia that made this.
How did she qualify for that?
I don't know. I'm crazy.
I admire that woman from Australia that saw the opportunity to go to the Olympics and she took it and managed to get a spot for breakdancing
100%.
despite being terrible.
100%. And her reason for her artistic dance was that she said the thing she likes most about dancing is that it's a form of art and she wants it to be different. So she did like different dances than the standard break dances because she thinks it's a form of art. I think that's a beautiful explanation. But it did make her look a little bit silly because she was doing like bunny hops and everything. And it went, I think it was the most spoken event.
I could do that breakdance as good as her. So I'm actually going to say that potentially that would be easier to qualify than dressage. If I had known what the qualifying criteria would have been for Australia and I was Australian, I could have, if I had chance to practice, bearing in mind she said years to practice that, I could have practiced the dance to that standard if I had a good choreographer and put the time in.
Alrighty, so this was the Bullshit Buster. Have we got an Instagram post of the week?
I haven't seen any, mate. I haven't seen any.
Okay. Then this will be our last virtual words because we'll be coming back with a new podcast, but it's going to be in real life from the Smoking Hot Caravan with air conditioning in Austria. Yeah, Jody?
I really hope your caravan doesn't have an air conditioning malfunction. Otherwise, I am going to be totally screwed. I'm going to be sleeping outside wild.
For now, safe travels to Austria, and everyone, thanks for listening. Don't forget to leave a little comment, and then we'll be seeing you, well, later this week. I would say we could do pre-race. We could do a pre-race podcast.
Yeah. See you later, mate.
Yeah,
I'll
bye-bye.
catch you out there. Bye.